Time for World Edition at December 8th, 2025. And of course, a lot's going on in the world. We'll be talking about that here, and hopefully, folks will be joining us. I know we've got Economics Monday coming up at 11 o'clock, but let's see what's going on in this and all along those lines in terms of the news and what's taking place in the news front, because we know a lot's taking place, and we're always glad to be reporting on that here on Pod TV and to let folks know what's going on in that space. Trump claims rave reviews for hosting Kennedy Center honors before ceremony even ends. So he was definitely the first sitting president to ever host the Kennedy honors, and he was talking about how great that was and how he thoroughly enjoyed doing that and gave it rave reviews for himself and all along those lines. So typical Trump, where he was giving the rave reviews for himself and saying what he had done great and all along those lines. So definitely that is something that people are talking about. The first president to ever host the Kennedy Center honors and all along those lines. Of course, he gave himself rave reviews, and we'll see what folks have to say about that as well. And of course, there's a number of other stories going on in the news as well. So there's always things that are taking place, and we're always glad to be covering those things and saying what folks have to say about a number of these news stories. A hitman ambushed, and looks like they were having some incidences with a journalist and all along those lines. So that's one of the other things that MSNBC was reporting and all along those lines. But the Marine Corps just had its 250th birthday. Now there's some folks that are saying on the Hill that we need to abolish the Marine Corps after his 250th birthday. Don't know how folks that were in the Marines will feel about that, as that is one of our major Army branches, and it'll be interesting to see why folks are saying that we need to get rid of that particular branch of the military and all along those lines. So definitely that'll be interesting to hear people's responses to getting rid of the Marine Corps and whether that's something that we should even be considering or not considering. A tsunami warning issued after a 7.6 magnitude earthquake strikes Japan. So that's something else that people are talking about. And China's trade surplus tops $1 trillion, underscoring its export dominance. And Colin Allred is exiting the Democratic primary in the Texas Senate race. And Syrian marks years since the dramatic fall of Assad. So Bashar al-Assad was ousted as Syrian president and fled to Russia in December of 2024, bringing a sudden end to his 24-year rule. And definitely there's still people that are looking at the healthcare issue and the economy issue and hearing how Trump is responding to that as well. An ex-Honduran president thanks God and Trump for drug trafficking pardon. And Berkshire Gecko boss Todd Combs leaves for J.P. Morgan ahead of Buffett's retirement. So it looks like Warren Buffett is about to retire and all along those lines. An article in the Washington Post says rural America relies on foreign doctors. Trump's visa fee shuts them out. And 100 school children abducted in Nigeria are released, but more are still held. A total of 100 of the school children abducted from a Nigerian Catholic school last month have been released, the Christian Association of Nigeria said today, adding that more than 100 students remain in captivity. Supreme Court rejects free speech case over controversial vanity plate and everything like that. So definitely that's going on as well. And NASA's Hubble telescope gets another look at 31 Atlas. Here's what it found. 401ks are minting a generation of moderate millionaires. Democrats who once lambasted Trump on immigration now grow quiet. So definitely that's something that is being reported in the Washington Post. And DC Police Chief Pamela Smith will be resigning. So she's getting ready to step down and all along that line. And the Associated Press had an interesting article. If you want that tattoo erased, it's going to hurt and it's going to cost you. So apparently it's not easy to get rid of those tattoos if you get them. I know some friends of mine that have a lot of tattoos and some that are even almost like canvases and all in that space. But they're saying if you want to get rid of those, it could be very difficult. And a hunt is underway for the Benin coup plotters and their hostages and all along those lines. He's tiny, fuzzy, and pink. Indonesia hails its first local panda cub, and Thailand launched an airstrike on Cambodia as that's one of the areas that Trump is bragging about his peace and the places that he had brought peace to. And Zelensky to huddle with European leaders in London. And definitely there's still some things going on in that space as well. And Hong Kong elections draws tepid turnout after a deadly fire. So they didn't have a big turnout in the Hong Kong election. And IBM buys data streaming platform Confluent in an $11 billion. So IBM said Monday is buying data streaming platform Confluent in a deal worth $11 billion that will help bolster the technology company's artificial intelligence strategy. So definitely that's something that's going on as well. And a woman is sentenced to 4 years in prison for blackmailing soccer star Son Heung-min and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier to be arraigned in New York court over the sports betting scheme. So definitely that's something going on as well. And James and Doncic inspire a Lakers victory. So people are talking about that, and people are also getting ready for the World Cup. I was watching some news, and there are definitely people that are getting prepared for that event that'll be coming up next year, and all along those lines. So that's just some of the news. We might get to some other things as well, but let me get to my folks, see what they've got to say about a number of these things, and there are other things that they've got on their minds as well, because definitely there's a lot going on in the world. I see I've got Rick Rosner with me. I know we started a little bit late, and I apologize for that. But that's
Okay.
I had a meeting that I had to get to and everything like that. So what are you finding in the news? What's striking your interest and everything like that? I mentioned a couple of the
So,
news stories, including Donald Trump, apparently the first sitting president to ever host an award ceremony and everything like that. And of course, he praised himself.
he went after my ex-boss again, saying if he doesn't do a better job than Jimmy Kimmel talent-wise as host, then he shouldn't be president, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So he went after Jimmy Kimmel and everything like that. But I did hear that he praised himself and thought that he was just the best thing since sliced bread as the host of the Kennedy Center and everything like that.
Well, let's talk about, like, let's say he is a talented host. I mean, he can certainly speak off the cuff, but when a host presides over any kind of, like, a legitimate TV host has a crew of 10 writers and also has the ability to write jokes themselves and will go through hundreds of jokes and pick the very best 10, 20 of them. Will Trump do any of that? No. He might sit down with one speech writer.
I doubt he'll do any of that.
Yeah, it's
Just
like, so no, he's already got like 5 strikes against him as being an entertaining host.
He's already got those strikes against him. Speaking of hosts, I was watching one of the music shows a couple of times. It looks like it's a good contest. I only watched maybe a third or a half of an episode, but they narrowed it down because they had a double elimination to the 4 that are heading to Nashville, and then the winner will get to go on tour with one of these country music stars, and I'm sure they'll get like a record deal as well. But I just wanted your take on these contests. It looks like we've got a young lady from North Carolina, Marion, North Carolina, which is a small country town that is one of the final 4.
Yeah, I think they're great. They find talent that might otherwise, go unfound. Yeah, I think American Idol. I mean, it's pretty cheesy. We quit watching it years ago because it was too corny, but it finds great new talent.
Yeah, and that's apparently the thing with The Road. This is this new show that's trying to find a country music talent because it's a country music American Idol type show and everything like that. And they were doing some classics. The woman from North Carolina did a Aretha Franklin song and everything like that, and definitely did a good job of it. And I think they had to do one original and one cover. So, like I said, they narrowed it down. I think there were 2 from North Carolina that were in the contest, one from Wake Forest and one from this town called Marion. And the one from Marion is one of the finalists. And there are some people that are saying, because she always finishes strong, that she could be the winner, and all along those lines. And people were giving her kind of like that Janis Joplin and other kind of vibes and everything like that. So we'll see if she is able to pull it off. You got to go into Nashville, and then we'll find the winner when they have the finals, the semifinals. Actually, they are next in Nashville. I think the semifinals and the finals are in Nashville.
Well, we also have a reverse talent show going on in Washington, D.C., where Trump has picked some very untalented people to head up various departments, and 2 of them, according to stories on Drudge, are in their jobs are in jeopardy. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, and Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security.
And this is all because they bombed a ship that nobody can understand why they bombed the ship and everything. Before
Well,
we get to that bomb,
you're not supposed to kill shipwrecked people in the water,
right?
even if they're enemy combatants. When they're helpless in the water, I mean, that seems like something that like a bad, uh, like an evil army would do. And that we blew up a ship, not even headed to the U.S., headed to I don't know, some. It was supposed to meet up with some other ship to take, I guess, cocaine to Europe or something. I don't know how they know all this, but that's what has been said. And so they blow up the ship. There's the front of the ship, the prow is floating in the water upside down.
Hey, I know you didn't necessarily serve, but I brought up this article and I'm gonna read just a little bit of it and I want to hear your thoughts. But the article says last month the Marine Corps turned 250 years old in the 2.5 centuries since its founding in a Philadelphia tavern. The Marines have evolved into a sophisticated and celebrated expeditionary arm, notably perfecting amphibious warfare in the Pacific and exemplifying American valor in conflicts spanning continents and eras from Tripoli and Iwo Jima to Incheon and Nisana to Fallujah and Helmand. But as Americans reflect on its most mythology-based
mythologized, yeah.
Right. Service, we should ask a difficult question. Do we still need the Marine Corps? As Congress prepares another record-setting defense budget, and I know that later on, David Walker will be talking economics, the U.S. needs to consider whether the Marines' sustained its independence makes strategic or fiscal sense. And this article is claiming the simple truth is that the Marines became redundant long ago. And originally the Marines were designed as naval infantry, troops who could fight on land or sea, secure ship decks and conduct coastal raids. Their advantage was amphibious warfare, the ability to storm beaches and seize ports before the main forces arrived. And it definitely seems like they were saying they did a great job. But now they had their apex moment back in.
Okay, so I can't speak to this at all. My brother was a Marine officer for 30 years.
Okay.
And he went all over the place. He was in a couple wars. He did intel. He did PR. He did a lot of, but obviously you're going to need specialist war fighters for specific situations. And it seems like the Marines, I mean, also you're going to need to pick out the best of the best for, a number of situations. And there are, a number of different, specialist, highly expert, the toughest of the tough, the smartest. You've got, the Seabees for military engineering. You've got Navy SEALs. You got the Green Berets, and you have the Marine. Nobody's getting rid of the Marines. That would be fantastically unpopular.
Yeah, that would be very unpopular, and I don't think people would like that. And like you said, that'd be very unpopular. Folks would definitely throw a fit, particularly those that are past Marines. There's this idea, because remember, we've talked about it on this network several times, of what the Republicans did with 2025. But, even though they just recently lost a race and everything, there is a somewhat of a blue wave and everything like that, particularly after the victories in Virginia and New Jersey. And they got a stronger than expected showing last week in a Tennessee special election. But now people are saying that maybe the Democrats need their own version of Project 2025, which would be a Project 2027 for their first 100 days of a Democratic majority.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Sharif wants to come in. He's knocking on the door.
I'll bring him in. But what's your thoughts about this idea?
Well, I mean, the Democrats have been accused of not presenting a clear a clear message to Americans. And people say, you can't just say the Republicans are bad. You have to offer an alternative. Now, I thought Kamala Harris did have some specifics, but those specifics were like $50,000 to help you with the down payment on your first home. Is that enough of a plan? No. And the specifics like that got drowned out in the rest of the, crap that was flying in 2024. But the Democrats should have a plan, and they can't just avoid criticism by refusing to be specific. I mean, the Republicans have um, been doing that for since Trump announced for the presidency in 2015 that they have a health care plan that's better than Obamacare.
Right.
They've
Right.
never come out with one.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a concept of a plan, according to what some people have
yeah.
said, even in the debates and everything like that. Hey, Dr. Sharif, I got a question for you because I have these lovely nephews of mine that stay with my brother and with my brother's ex and everything like that. They spend time between the two parents that they have and everything along those lines. But that's not my question. My question is, um, earlier today, and I want to hear Rick's thought about this as well. And I remember this even when I was a school kid and everything. But earlier today, we had the threat of snow. It hasn't snowed yet. It may snow later on this afternoon. But our schools canceled, and they canceled even before the snow hit the ground and everything like that. So I was just wondering, how quick are y'all to pull the plug on school outings and everything like that? Because, like I said, right now it's a little gray, and it's probably gonna do some bad weather later on and everything like that. And I guess they're trying to be precautious and everything in that space. But it hasn't snowed, and there's no snow on the ground, so they're basically out of school for
All
a
right,
month.
well, let me talk of when we were growing up, life was cheap.
Right.
It took 3 feet of snow on the ground for them to cancel school. If a kid got lost in a snowbank on the way to, which they didn't, but like kids were, I had to walk, 3/4 of a mile to school through 2 feet of snow, because like that's what it was like back in the 60s and the 70s. My kid never once walked to school alone, even though school was only 4 blocks away, because we are more protective of our kids now, which I think is fine. Like cars used to kill the crap out of people. Like a car in the 1930s had a metal dashboard, had like didn't have safety glass, didn't have seat belts. If you stop short, if you crashed into something, you're punching through the windshield, and you are dead. And since then, cars have gotten much safer, and now we are much more parenting wasn't even a verb until the 1980s. So
Right.
now we're more cautious, and that's fine.
Mhm, mhm.
It's a
So
different way
very,
from Dr. Sharif. Jacoby,
yeah,
I was teasing and everything because Dr. Sharif.
yeah. This is actually very interesting discussion for me. If you want to understand the South Asian schools, right? Example, compared to USA, I visited many international schools, USA and Canada, California and Vancouver, and I say you have a big infrastructures and all of the technologies and everything. But if you want to steal, because here I come to Bangladesh and I go to all of the grassroots level peoples. Uh, in terms of infrastructure, last few years, Bangladesh improved a lot. I do not want to say it's like Singapore, it's like California, but it's improved a lot. But in terms of infrastructure, I want to say this digital infrastructure and everything. Still, yes, Bangladesh improved a lot, but there is a room that we can do that. But if you discuss about the mental health issues, about student activities and great skills, and all of the things, specifically leadership skills, I want to say uh, South Asian students, they are very compatible because they have to go for a lot of competitions. They have to go with a lot of challenge, especially economical challenge, social challenge, and by this way they grow their quality of leadership. So definitely, USA schools student can learn a lot of things. You have online activities, online things, but I think knowledge is not actually for school student. I think Jatovi, I think you have your son with you or something. Let's say your son, if he want to be a great leader for this global world, definitely he has to visit Bangladesh or India or Middle East. It's my concern, even Singapore, to learn the great leadership, diversified cultures, and interesting approach. So I want to say North America individual is a great place, but they are not only the place where students from the classroom they can grow. From the childhood, I want to welcome all of the peoples. You should join in South Asia and Asian market, because here economy is growing and you can learn many beautiful culture and activities. So that is my thoughts about school education system. So we can organize summer camp, we can organize this kind of conference and dialogue. We can visit USA. US students should visit Bangladesh. That is the way of development.
Yeah, it makes sense to get to visit and do that world visit. Speaking of visiting, I want to hear from both you and Rick, but it looks like while we're worrying about our economy, the China trade surplus with the world topped $1 trillion despite the tariffs and everything like that. So what is our thoughts about how China is doing in terms of world trade and everything like that? Because apparently they've topped $1 trillion for the first time. And there are now people that are saying that causing to question the effectiveness of developed countries, and especially President Donald Trump's attempt
Okay, so
to flood of manufactured goods flowing out of China, because the goods are still coming out of China.
China is an entrepreneurial dictatorship, which turns out to be a very successful system right now. And they have more than 150 cities in China, industrial cities with more than 1 million people. They have 8 cities with more than 10 million people. These cities are making stuff. And China can be patient with 1.4 billion people. They don't have to be, I mean, they want Taiwan, but they can be patient in achieving their objectives because they have, tremendous manpower. They have tremendous educational resources, and they have this government that wants people to succeed. Of course, if you criticize the government, there will be trouble for you. But I think our government under Trump is basically losing time and market share because we make bad decisions. We need to be gearing up to compete technologically with China, not compete with them, via trade wars and tariffs.
Yep. And it looks like Paramount has been, I know you're in the entertainment industry.
I want to add something about
Yeah,
China.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add something about China. As a long time, I stayed in Malaysia. I teach Chinese student. Look, this is my very honest opinion. China has very strong economic system. China actually they grow their student. If you go with this Chinese student, they are very good at 2 things. Number 1, mathematics, compared to American students. Number 2, they are very good at sales and marketing, even from their childhood, even from their classroom. They are very good at for these 2 things. Number 1, mathematics. Number 2, the sales and marketing. One thing, culturally, if you ask the Chinese students, why do you want to grow? Honestly speaking, they want to be American. Because China culture is very close, right? If you see the Chinese university, they are fantastic. Undoubtedly, they have great university right now, but they have weakness because they do not want to do a lot of collaborations like North American university, right? So for that particular issues, still China is not a champion in AI industry. Why USA is champion? Because US do a lot of collaborations. They are open society. So I do not want to overvalue Chinese people. Some point how I see these discussions and other things, from my personal experience, some point it's too much overvalued. Definitely we have to respect Chinese culture. We have to respect American culture. We have to respect Indian culture. But we should not go for overvalued. Every country has limitation. China has, Bangladesh has, India has, America has. So we should develop us as if we want to be good entrepreneur, because I am master of entrepreneurs. I'm a mentor for entrepreneurs. If you want to be good entrepreneurs, you have to be global citizen. And then all of the entrepreneur can grow. Here is the Chinese challenge. Chinese people, honestly speaking, they have to learn more like a team player. I do not find them. They are a very good team player. They have to be very good like a North American, how they do for all of the collaborations. That's why I like American culture. So these are the things. Every culture is different, actually. Let's say American politics run by lawyers and policymakers. Always they discuss about policy. Chinese culture run by all of the engineers. They always focus on efficiency, improvements, business growth. That is the thing. So let's grow together. Do not go for overvalued or undervalued. Everybody can come in the same boat as a global player, and we can learn from each other. I can learn from Rick, I can learn from Mark, and we can grow together.
That makes a lot of sense. What's your take on that? Thing like that. So, and have Sasha talking about what's going on with the Ukraine-Russia war, and that's still in the news as well, because apparently Zelensky is meeting with European leaders as Ukraine peace talks drag on. So are we ever going to see some peace in the near future in Ukraine, or is this going to be a continuous war and everything like that? So what is our thoughts on this?
I can't speak to that. I mean, obviously wars end, but I don't know if this is anywhere near ending.
Yeah, I don't know either, because it'll be interesting to see how that goes and everything like that. Dr. Sharif, looks like one of the world's largest airlines is canceling a lot of flights. Is facing crisis. So what's going on with that area? Do you have any idea? Because it looks like they're saying that maybe the pilots are overworked, or they're overworked in the U.S. and we had issues with our air traffic controllers. But it says that shares tumbled after thousands of cancellations. So it looks like one of their major flights could be in trouble that brings people here as well as around the world. So what if anything, are you hearing in your India airline problem?
Bangladesh Airlines, look, we are the highly density populated country compared to USA. Our capacity is very small, but if you want, let's say airlines business it's always good, because we have many passengers, many people, those who live abroad, right? So this is a very good place. So still, I just want to say, I do not see we have the challenge and problem like USA. We have more growth, we have more interesting things, and I just want to welcome you all, because Bangladesh Investment Development Authority just published some news and some article. I find that by 2030s, this place will be largest consumer. So let's come and join in the business ecosystem, including your airlines, your educations, your manufacturing, your artificial intelligence, your media, and grow together. Rick, you are one of the popular men right now in Bangladesh. Many people know about you. Yesterday, I just shared one of the politicians. He go for public like innovative. This is he is the politician. He come to me, very famous. I want to say movie writer. His name is Zohir Rahan. So I just shared that we have our friend Rick Rosner. He's from Hollywood. So you have a lot of good friends.
Well, I should go over. I should go. My wife and I
even you are in politics, Bangladesh politics. Everybody knows who is Rick.
Everybody knows Rick. Everybody knows Mark. So
that's nice. Only about in America, only one person a year recognizes me. I'll be at the gym and they'll go, "Are you Rick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm not very famous here.
But you
so
are
maybe you'll be more famous in Australia.
He's a famous, very famous man. Zohir Rahan is a producer, movie director. His son, he's a very famous politician. He come and I say, "Hey, we have our friends from Hollywood. Why don't you introduce him?" So you can join.
I have lots of ideas. I should go over there and we should see about making some stuff.
Making some movies. Sounds like a great idea.
Let's grow. We have Bollywood, right? You have Hollywood, we have Bollywood. Let's work together.
Bollywood's the biggest the movie industry in the world.
So do not waste your. That
is called talent economy. Isn't Hollywood number 3? Because I thought Bollywood and Nollywood both beat Hollywood now.
I mean, in terms of revenue, probably Hollywood's still, because to go to a movie in America, it's like $20. To go to a movie in India, I don't know, it's 35 cents if you convert it to American. So, but more people see Bollywood movies and Dollywood movies than America, I think. Yeah, you guys are huge.
Yeah, I would think so and everything. I got a question because it's based on, and I wish Nick was here, how much, and this is for both of you, should we be worrying about the morality of other countries and everything like that? Because I don't know if you've been watching the Facebook debate. It's been a debate that Joseph Jacoby and definitely Nick has instituted, but he's basically saying and kind of belittling Somalia because Somalia operates under Sharia law and everything like that, and they don't exactly have strong views around the LGBT community and everything like that in terms of being accepting of those populations, whereas other places may be more accepting. So he was almost making it seem as if that was part of the reason that we didn't need to have immigrants from those countries coming here. But as one person said, maybe if they're escaping those kind of problems, and that's why we should have more Somalians coming in and everything like that. But I just wondered, how much should we be trying to dictate other people's morality?
Well, the U.S. can be very hypocritical, where we pay a lot of attention to certain countries in the world, and then we are very ignorant about other countries.
Right.
And and we tolerate bad behavior from some countries, and then we deplore it from others. And let's see how many Muslim countries there are. So there are 53 Muslim majority countries, which is it's about 25% of all the countries in the world. And I'm sure, like every other kind of country, out of the 53, there are some that have responsible government, and there are some that are either failed states or they're run by dickheads.
And there's some that probably follow Sharia law to
right. And I'm sure that there are different systems of Sharia law, some where most people are able to live decent lives, and some where the like Afghanistan is run by dickheads.
Right.
The Taliban, they're dicks. They're terrible to women. They have a terrible economy. They don't know what they're doing. They're a bunch of basically hillbillies. They're yahoos with AK-47s. But there are other nations. So I don't know about Pakistan. Pakistan seems to be a modern country. Does bad shit happen there? Yeah, I guess so. But like the Pakistan, I don't know, are they well, they're certainly more competent than Afghanistan. And there are plenty, I'm sure there are. Here we can see, what is the best Muslim nation? Where's so Malaysia seems to be a nice place to live. The UAE is crazy nice because they've got they're rich as hell. Qatar, Turkey's seems like an amazing country. They do have a dictator, so you don't want to get afoul of him. But Turkey is such a mix of it's the crossroads of all these civilizations. Seems like a great place to visit. They've got a ton going on.
Yeah, but we pick on the Muslims and everything like that. And I think, if I remember correctly, Dr. Sharif is Muslim and everything. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Christians have had a diverse view on, because I even looked up on Wikipedia, toward violence and nonviolence over time. I mean, we know that the Crusades, which were considered the Holy Wars, were a Christian war and everything like that. And even in the Roman Empire, the early church adopted a nonviolent stance when it came to war, because of the imitation of Jesus' sacrificial life was preferable. But the concept of a just war has been out there for a while.
The Crusades were kind of a big scam. They were kind of like MAGA. They got people all riled up and we're going to go, they didn't accomplish much, and they cost a lot of people their money and their lives. Once you got the Crusaders out of their home countries, those people were easy pickings for all sorts of piracy and bad times, freaking bad times for all concerned.
Oh yeah.
I share one small thing. It's called Kokoro. It's a wisdom app. What we develop, what we are doing research, we are publishing books and all of the things. And honestly speaking, as I travel a lot, I meet with a lot of cultural people. Last 15 years, I try to learn from every community, from North America, from Middle East, from Africa, from South Asia, from Europe, everywhere. So what I understand actually, we need to be global citizen. We need to play more for our wisdom, all right? Because here, everyone, you are actually smart people. Everyone, Nick is a smart man. Rick is the smartest people in this planet. Mark, you are a smart man. But smart people always know what to do. Wise people know what they do not have to do. That is the things we have to develop right now. And wisdom comes from different religions. There is no difference in between Jewish and Muslim and Christian or Hinduism. Everything actually, what we focus on human developments. What we discuss on all of the big things, economics, $1 billion economy, $1 trillion economy, all of the things. I'm not big fan of trillionaires. I want to make more millionaires, right? Because trillionaires means all of the resources go to one person and more poor people. That is very bad. That is unhealthy. I'm not just criticizing, hey, America, California, you have a lot of poor people, you have homeless people. No, every country has problem. But it's an indicators that money go for central, one people. Trillionaire means more poor people we have, more homeless people we have. But I want to build through our talent economy more millionaires. We have to go for decentralized management. We have to go for decentralized of our asset. American people do not go for paychecks and live their life for paychecks and everything. Everybody needs some decent income and decent values and everything. So the world actually do all of the wrong things with their economic policy, with their politics, with their cultures, with their technologies and everything. So now there is a big time because all of the young people last 7 years, I am just saying and saying that all of the talented people with the help of technology, they are come to the front line in politics, in business, in entrepreneurial initiative. Their mindset is completely different. It's not 1990s mindset. What is the US problem? Because USA is still, I believe, a very big culture, very big economy. Especially Rick, you work for Hollywood. Hollywood has a big impact of the Asian life. But only things USA cannot be great.
Hold on a second. Nick, you got to fix your voice.
You got that Mickey Mouse voice thing going again.
USA cannot be a champion without the help of other community, other the developing nations. So that is the issues. I go for this wisdom app. We need to create. We have to build our wisdom, right? Yeah. So what machine has? Machine. Whatever you do, Rick, you do, me do, and Mark do. Machine can do anything, right? Compared to better, if they can write better research paper compared to me, compared to Rick and everyone. But what machine cannot do, they do not have heart. They do not have wisdom. So we need to play with our wisdom. We need to learn from different culture. We need to engage with these things. So that's why I go for this wisdom app. Nick, Rick, Mark, everybody is part of our talent economy, our wisdom economy and everything. People love these things so much. You know that in Bangladesh, we have 300,000 mosques. You know, mosque means everybody has Islamophobia in Western world. They said this, that, many negative things. I am the man. I say, hey, Nick is a white people, Rick is a white people, Dave Walker is a white people. So all of the white people, that there is no difference. They love Bangladeshi culture. They love Muslim culture. And they go for our show. They use our wisdom app. They just read our books. They go for the training program. So the world is very beautiful. Just we have to change our mindset.
Yeah, and technology is the way to build bridges. And especially we need to build bridges among people. We also need to build bridges to technology, because if we don't don't merge with technology, technology will run wild and it will kick our asses.
Also, you have to go visit these. You have to go visit these countries. I mean, sooner or later I'll get to Dhaka, but I'm going to Turkey next month. You know, I was in Morocco. I guess that's a Muslim country. They were celebrating Ramadan. They had really good food after the celebration. There was no problem with Morocco. It was a perfectly nice country. And I'm going to Turkey next month. And, you know, Turkey looks to be pretty good. My wife's been there, and they got a lot of really good stuff to see in Istanbul. They have the Santa Sophia. They have the Blue Mosque. They have river cruises. They have cruises along the Black Sea. I mean, so there's a lot, and the food is great. I mean, you know, the thing
Good
is,
food. Like
Yeah,
I said, I need to
Nick,
get back
there is a
out
good
there
example.
as
Yeah.
a baby and everything like that. But just really quickly, I did have coming back to AI. I had a question, and this is for everybody because I went with a friend of mine. It's actually a friend of the network. So he used to have a show on the network. Now he has it on his own network and everything like that. But I went with him to a restaurant, and when I went to the restaurant, this is the first time that I recall a restaurant here in North Carolina having a robot greet me. So the robot is the one, and it even said on the sign that was taking my order. I mean, when I got up to the window, because he was buying some me lunch and everything. When I got up to the window, it was an actual person that handed us the food. But before that, it was the robot, and that was my first encounter that I can remember with a robot greeter at a major restaurant. It was Checkers and everything like that. So is this going to become more common and everything like that? Because like I said, I know that I've sometimes eat out too much. I sometimes get DoorDash too much and everything like that. But that was my first time ever that I can recall running across the robot greeter.
Yeah, we have a revolving sushi joint in LA. It's part of a chain, the Kuru, where you get the there's a robot waiter brings your water and stuff, brings your drinks.
Well, it's just like in the early 1900s, they developed this thing called an automobile. Right. And when my grandmother was born, there was no automobile. They were in horse and buggy. And she lived 100 years old, 101 actually. So she went from the horse and buggy all the way to people flying in one generation. So if you think about it, Mark, and it won't even take that long, the next decade, you don't have to worry about overtime tips because there won't be any waiters or waitresses. They're basically, that job is eliminated. So you're going to have robots basically taking over those jobs and maybe even the cashier's jobs. So those probably have
we have to tip the robot because they usually
put the tip the robot.
No, but so at our revolving sushi place, you still got a tip because if you look in the kitchen, they've got like a dozen sushi chefs just cranking out. Frickin', those guys need to get tipped.
You got to pay the sushi chef. I'll tell you, in Spain, there is no tipping. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, because the wait people, the servers get paid a reasonable wage.
No, they don't.
US,
they really don't. None of the wages here are high.
So what do they do? How do they?
They have a hard life. Okay, I mean, well, a hard life in a way, but they don't work that hard in a way. So they have siestas.
All right, so they go to the beach. So like they get shitty money, but
what they do is they have a good. They live good. Like I said, they work to live. They don't live to work. It's just a little different culture here. So it's almost like, I
want to get back to what Dr. Sharif was saying. I was looking at the list of the world's biggest cities. And out of the 12 biggest cities in the world, only one isn't in either South Asia or East Asia. The story of the world has the focus, the center of the world, it has shifted or is shifting from white people land to Asia, and we ignore it in the U.S. at our peril. Like Elon Musk, tweets all the time now. He's a lunatic. He tweets stuff about how we have to save the white race and stuff. And white people are 10% of the world. And
maybe 8%. They're not there.
I looked it up. It's about 10, but I mean
10, really, right? 10 now. Well, if you think about it, that's the reason I want to get Dr. Sharif and more people involved in Asia, because 50% of the world's population is within, 2 countries of where he lives. Where in the U.S. it's not even close. I mean. So if you want to have a lot of people watching these shows, we've got to get into the Asian market because that's where everybody is.
Yeah, Bangladesh is a huge country. It's got half the number of people as the U.S. And most people in America aren't even aware of Bangladesh. And then India, of course, has 4 times the population. China, 4 times the population of the U.S. And so, you got to figure out a way to break into those markets.
Yep, definitely had to break into those markets.
Since this is December, I want to talk about something I've been discovering. So, I'm Jewish, so Jewish people don't believe Jesus was a holy man, but I've been rebuilding. Can you see this mosaic of Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
I like I like buying mosaics that are all crap, that are all busted up, and then because you get a good price on them, and then I put them back together. I find it relaxing, and so I've been working on Jesus for a long time, and I've been learning about Jesus more than I knew, because you know when Jewish kids go to Sunday school, they don't teach us very much about Jesus. And like one thing that surprised me is the Jesus up on the cross. I thought that was a guy who was still alive. He's
You
not.
thought he was still alive?
No, he's not. If he's already got a cut in his side from the Roman soldiers stabbing him, he's dead, which is weird that you guys, all the Christians in the world, are. I know he comes back to life after 3 days, but I was surprised to find out that I've been working on a mosaic of a dead guy. That by the time he gets stabbed, I thought the soldiers, the centurion, stabbed him to be mean to Jesus or else to help him die faster. But it turns out, no, the centurion stabs him to make sure that he's dead, which I don't know, that freaked me out a little bit, that the Jesus up on the cross is already dead. That's weird to think that all these people are walking around with little statues of a dead guy around their neck. I mean, it's sad as hell, but anyway.
How do Jews feel about the return? Because he's supposed to be returning too at some point or another.
Well, I want somebody to come back and clean house. As a Jewish person, I'm not very well. The Jews believe a Messiah will show up, but most Jews don't believe that. The same way that there are a ton of Christians who don't really think a Messiah is coming. It would be nice for a Messiah to come and yell at some of the jackasses and tell them to shut up. I talk to my mosaic Jesus a lot, and I'm like, dude, come on, it's time. But yeah, I'd be happy with, I don't want a Messiah who's a dickhead, but Jesus seems like a good guy.
I'd say he was a good guy and everything like that, and all on those lines. And Nick, you still there?
I don't know. We should get back. Let's take a look at. You want to take another look at Drudge? See what's going on. Okay, so now there's a bidding war for Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the articles, the opinion pieces on this takeover with Netflix buying Warner Brothers say it's a bad thing. It's more consolidation. The fewer entertainment companies you have, the less they have to, the meaner they can be. They don't have to pay. They don't have to make new content. They can say, you're just going to watch our old content and like it. If you've got nowhere to go. I mean, look how bad TV was in the 70s compared to now when we had 3 networks: ABC, NBC, CBS. Now we have. Now you're up.
There we go. I had to go in on the other one because it was acting crazy.
Okay, all right. So TV was bad in the 70s, in the 60s, but when there were only 3 networks. And so the Netflix takeover of Warner Brothers is bad for entertainment because that's more consolidation. But
yeah,
now we have a bidding war. Somebody is going to buy Warner Brothers, and not going to be great. Though
there's somebody going to buy it, we don't know who's going to buy it.
Yeah. Let's see. So Paramount has, I don't know how much. Let's see. Warner Brothers wants to pay $30 a share for Warner Brothers. Let's take a look at where Warner Brothers is at. Right now they're at $27.50. So Paramount is offering like a 9% premium that if you sell your shares to them, you'll automatically instantly make 9%.
Wow. That's a decent amount and everything. Well, I know we got to get over to Economics Monday, but we'll find out more about these situations. I think that there are a couple of other things, including Confluence or one of those streaming services being bought. So it does seem like the entertainment game is being dealt with a lot of buyouts and new players and everything like that. So we'll see how this goes.
And it's bad for the people who work in entertainment. There's less stuff to work on. The residuals have gone to hell, where people used to live off of residuals. You make a show, and then when they rerun the show, you make a few $100 every time. That's enough to get by until your next job comes along. Now with streaming, instead of getting a check for $300, you get a check for 2 cents. Actually 2 pennies. It's crazy. There are stories of people who get checks in the mail for negative amounts of money. Somehow the computer decided if you're going to cash this check, you owe us money. It's bad for people, for writers, actors, directors, cinematographers, choreographers. Anyway, all right. I'll see you over at the other show.
All right. We're going to get on out of here. We'll see you at Economics Monday.
Bye.
Hi.